When your children don't respect you and ignore you, don't get angry. Do this instead. Nothing feels worse than being ignored by your own children. You call their name, and they pretend not to hear you. You ask them to do something, and they act like you are invisible. The attitude, the eye rolls, the dismissive sighs, it can be downright infuriating. As a parent, you have done everything for them. You have sacrificed sleep, energy, and probably a few sanity points just to make sure they are happy and taken care of. And now they act like you are some background noise they can tune out whenever they feel like it. It is enough to make anyone snap. But here is the thing. Getting angry does not work. Yelling, demanding respect, or trying to force them to listen only creates more distance. They tune you out even more. They learn to avoid you rather than respect you. And before you know it, the connection between you and your child starts to feel more like a battle than a relationship. But do not worry. There is a better way to handle this. It is effective, and it does not involve losing your cool or turning into the mean parent you never wanted to be. First, take a step back and breathe. When your child ignores you or disrespects you, it feels personal. But in most cases, it is not about you at all. Kids and teens go through phases where they test boundaries, assert independence, or simply get lost in their own world. It is frustrating, yes, but it is also normal. The real challenge is not in stopping the behavior, but in how you respond to it. Instead of reacting with frustration, respond with calmness. That does not mean you let them walk all over you. It means you approach the situation with a level head and a strategy that actually works. One of the most powerful things you can do is show them through your actions that respect is a two-way street. Kids learn by watching, not just by listening. If you are demanding respect while treating them with irritation or sarcasm, they will pick up on that. Instead, model the kind of respect you want to receive. Speak to them with kindness, even when you are frustrated. Show them patience, even when they're being difficult. This does not mean you let bad behavior slide. It means you correct them in a way that teaches, not just punishes. Another key move is to stop chasing them for attention. If you constantly repeat yourself, nag, or beg them to listen, they learn that ignoring you is an option. Instead, shift the power dynamic. Say what you need to say once, clearly and confidently. If they do not respond, do not engage in a back-and-forth argument. Instead, follow through with natural consequences. For example, if you ask them to clean their room and they ignore you, do not keep reminding them. Instead, let them deal with the consequence of a messy room. If you ask them to come to dinner and they do not listen, do not beg them to join. They will realize soon enough that when they ignore you, they miss out. Another effective approach is to make sure your connection with them is strong outside of these moments of conflict. A child who feels emotionally connected to a parent is far more likely to listen and show respect. If your relationship is built only on rules, discipline, and authority, they will naturally resist. But if you have a bond where they feel seen, heard, and valued, they will care more about what you say. Find small ways to connect. It does not have to be anything big. A 5-minute conversation about their favorite show. A car ride where you put your phone away and just listen. A joke shared at the dinner table. These little moments build trust, and trust leads to respect. It is also important to recognize that some disrespect or ignoring behavior comes from unspoken frustrations. Kids, like adults, have emotions they do not always know how to express. Sometimes, when they are being dismissive or rude, it is not because they do not care. It is because they are overwhelmed, upset, or dealing with something they have not shared with you. Instead of assuming they are just being difficult, take a moment to ask what is really going on. A simple, "You seem off today. Want to talk about it?" can sometimes reveal a lot more than you expect. Setting clear and firm boundaries is another game changer. Kids need to know what is acceptable and what is not, but those boundaries need to be consistent. If you let things slide sometimes but crack down hard other times, they will learn to test how serious you are. Decide what is non-negotiable and stick to it. If ignoring you when you speak is not acceptable, make sure they know it. But instead of yelling or lecturing, make the consequence clear. For example, if they ignore you when you ask them to do something, there is a consequence they cannot avoid. No extra screen time, no ride to their friend's house. The key is to stay calm and follow through. One of the most overlooked but highly effective strategies is to make your words count. If you talk too much, they start tuning you out automatically. Instead of long lectures or repeating yourself, keep your messages short and to the point. If they are ignoring you, affirm, "I need you to listen to me right now," said in a serious but calm tone can have more impact than a long explanation of why their behavior is frustrating. And finally, remember that respect is built over time. It is not about getting instant obedience. It is about creating a relationship where they value what you say because they trust and respect you, not because they fear punishment. This takes patience. It takes consistency. And yes, it takes some serious self-control when you feel like losing your temper. But in the long run, these strategies do not just fix the immediate problem. They create a home environment where communication is strong, mutual respect is natural, and your child actually wants to listen to you. So, how can you make your child appreciate you and the things you do for them? Parenting is a journey filled with love, sacrifice, and a never-ending to-do list. You cook meals, wash clothes, help with homework, drive them around, and do 100 little things that keep their world running smoothly. But what happens when your child does not seem to notice any of it? Worse, when they start acting entitled or taking everything for granted. That feeling of being unappreciated can be frustrating and exhausting. You start wondering if they even realize how much effort you put in every single day. You do so much for them, and yet sometimes it feels like they just expect it, like it is nothing special. But before you throw in the towel and declare that you are done doing anything extra, let's take a step back. The truth is, most kids do not naturally express appreciation the way adults do. They live in a world where they assume that their needs will always be met. They are not trying to be selfish. They are just used to things being taken care of for them. Think about it. When was the last time you stopped to thank the person who keeps the roads clean or the person who bags your groceries? It is not that you do not appreciate them. It is just that their work blends into the background of your daily life. The same thing happens with kids. They assume that food will be on the table, that their favorite shirt will be clean, and that someone will remind them of that school project they almost forgot about. So, what can you do to help your child recognize your efforts and actually appreciate them? First, shift your focus from expecting immediate gratitude to teaching appreciation as a long-term lesson. Instead of getting upset that they do not say thank you for every meal, look at the bigger picture. Appreciation is not just about words. It is about understanding effort, developing empathy, and recognizing the value of what others do. The key is to create small but impactful moments where they can learn this lesson naturally. Start by letting them experience responsibility firsthand. If they never have to put in the work, they will never understand what goes into it. Give them tasks that allow them to see what it takes to maintain a home. Have them wash their own dishes after a meal or fold their own laundry. Not as a punishment, but as a way to teach them the effort behind these daily tasks. When they realize how much time and effort these things take, they naturally start to appreciate the fact that you do them every day. Another effective strategy is not always saying yes right away. When kids are used to instant solutions, they do not have time to reflect on what they are asking for. If they come to you demanding a snack, instead of rushing to get it, give them a moment to think. Say, "Sure, I can get that for you in a bit. I just finished doing something else." This small delay helps them realize that things do not magically appear. Someone is making an effort behind the scenes. It is also important to encourage gratitude in their daily life. This does not mean forcing them to say thank you all the time, but rather helping them develop a habit of noticing what others do. Ask them questions like, "Who helped you today?" Or "What is something good that happened to you because of someone else?" When they start recognizing the kindness and effort of others, they become more aware of what you do for them as well. Modeling gratitude is another powerful tool. Kids learn more from what they see than what they are told. If you regularly express appreciation, they will pick up on it. Thank them when they help with something, no matter how small. Let them hear you thank the cashier at the store or the waiter at a restaurant. Show them what it looks like to be grateful, and they will mirror that behavior. One of the best ways to teach appreciation is by stepping back sometimes. It is natural to want to make life easier for your child, But if they never experience what it is like to go without, they will never truly appreciate what they have. If they constantly get the latest toys or gadgets without having to wait, they will not see them as special. If they always have someone to clean up after them, they will not value a tidy space. Giving them opportunities to work for something or to experience waiting for a reward helps them appreciate things more. Having conversations about effort and value can also be eye-opening for kids. Talk to them about how hard you work to provide for the family. Not in a guilt-tripping way, but in a way that helps them understand reality. Share stories about times when you had to work for something or when you learned to appreciate something you once took for granted. Real-life examples make the lesson feel real. It is also important to recognize the moments when they do show appreciation. Even if it is small, acknowledge it. If they say thank you without being reminded, let them know you noticed. If they offer to help, even if it is just a little, praise them for it. Positive reinforcement encourages them to continue those behaviors. One common mistake parents make is thinking that appreciation needs to come in big gestures. But true appreciation is built through daily habits, not grand moments. It is in the little things like saying, "I appreciate you helping me with this," or noticing when they put effort into something. When they see that appreciation is a natural part of everyday life, they will start practicing it too. Another thing to keep in mind is that kids go through phases. There will be times when they are more self-absorbed, and that is normal. The goal is not to force immediate change, but to plant the seeds that will grow over time. Even if they do not seem to be listening now, the lessons you teach them will stay with them. If you ever feel like your efforts are going unnoticed, remind yourself that parenting is a long game. Just because they do not say thank you today does not mean they do not appreciate you. Sometimes it takes growing up and experiencing life on their own for them to fully understand everything you did for them. And when that day comes, you will see that all the small lessons, all the patience, and all the effort were worth it. In the meantime, focus on the relationship rather than just the results. A child who feels loved and supported will eventually develop appreciation. It might not happen overnight, but with consistency, patience, and the right approach, they will learn to recognize and value everything you do for them. And who knows? One day, they might just surprise you with a heartfelt thank you that makes all the hard work feel absolutely worth it. So, here are some daily habits that help parents gain more respect from their children. Every parent dreams of a home where their children listen, respect them, and appreciate the effort they put in. But let's be real. There are days when it feels like you are talking to a brick wall. You ask them to do something, and they either ignore you, roll their eyes, or give you that half-hearted yeah response. And suddenly, you start wondering, when did things change? When did your sweet little child turn into this mini rebel who questions everything you say? It can be frustrating, and if you are not careful, it can turn into an ongoing battle of wills. But here is the thing. Respect is not something you can demand. It is something you earn. Kids do not automatically respect their parents just because they should. They respect the parents who show up consistently, set clear boundaries, and model the behavior they want to see. It is all about small, daily habits that create an environment where respect grows naturally. The good news? It is never too late to start building that foundation. One of the most powerful habits is following through on what you say. Kids are incredibly observant. If you tell them there will be consequences for certain actions but never enforce them, they quickly learn that your words do not carry much weight. If you promise to do something and then forget or change your mind, they stop trusting what you say. Following through builds credibility, and credibility leads to respect. When you set a rule or make a promise, stick to it. They may not like it in the moment, but over time, they will respect you for being consistent. Another key habit is staying calm, even when they are pushing all your buttons. Kids are experts at testing limits. They will push, argue, and sometimes even try to provoke a reaction. The way you respond teaches them how much control they have over you. If you yell or react emotionally every time they challenge you, they learn that they can control the situation by pushing you to that point. But when you stay calm and in control, you send a message that you are the leader in the household. That does not mean you let things slide. It means you handle situations with confidence and patience. Over time, They will respect your ability to stay composed under pressure. Listening is another underrated habit that builds respect. Parents often expect their kids to listen to them, but how often do parents really listen to their kids? Not just nodding while they talk, but actually listening with interest. When kids feel heard, they are more likely to listen in return. It creates a mutual level of respect. If your child is upset about something, resist the urge to shut them down with, "That is not a big deal," or "You will understand when you are older." Instead, take a moment to acknowledge their feelings. Even if you do not agree with their perspective, showing that you care about their thoughts and emotions makes a huge difference in how they see you. Respect also grows when kids see that you respect yourself. If they see you constantly putting yourself down, letting others walk all over you, or neglecting your own needs, they absorb that message. Taking care of yourself, setting personal boundaries, and showing self-respect teaches them how they should treat you. If you allow them to speak to you disrespectfully without correcting it, they learn that it is acceptable. But if you calmly but firmly say, "I do not allow people to speak to me that way," you are setting a standard for how they should treat you and others. Being fair and reasonable also goes a long way. Kids are quick to call out what they see as unfair treatment. If they feel like rules are inconsistent or punishments are overly harsh, they start to resent authority instead of respecting it. That does not mean you should let them do whatever they want. It just means that rules should be clear, consequences should make sense, and they should feel like they have some level of control over their own lives. When kids understand why a rule exists, they are more likely to follow it without resistance. Spending quality time together is another habit that strengthens respect. It is easy to get caught up in daily routines where everyone is just going through the motions. But when was the last time you had fun with your child? Not as a parent enforcing rules, but just as a person enjoying their company. Kids respect the people they feel connected to. If your only interactions with them are about responsibilities and discipline, the relationship can start to feel more like a dictatorship than a partnership. Take time to do things they enjoy, have conversations about their interests, and show that you genuinely like being around them. That connection makes them want to listen to you, not just because they have to, but because they respect you as a person. One of the biggest mistakes parents make is demanding respect without showing it in return. Respect is a two-way street. If you constantly criticize, belittle, or dismiss your child's feelings, they will not learn to respect you. If you are rude to them when you are frustrated but expect them to always be polite to you, they will notice the double standard. Speak to them the way you want to be spoken to. Treat them with kindness, and they will reflect that back over time. Another daily habit that earns respect is admitting when you are wrong. Parents are not perfect. There will be times when you lose your temper, misunderstand a situation, or make a mistake. When that happens, do not brush it off like it never happened. Apologizing to your child teaches them that making mistakes is okay, and more importantly, it shows them what accountability looks like. Saying, "I should not have yelled earlier. I was frustrated, but that was not the right way to handle it," teaches them responsibility in a way that no lecture ever could. Teaching responsibility is another way to build respect. Kids who have responsibilities at home understand effort and contribution. If they never have to clean up after themselves, cook a meal, or do anything beyond their own personal interests, they will not fully appreciate what goes into running a household. Giving them tasks, even small ones, helps them see that everyone plays a role in making things work. And when they start contributing, they naturally develop more respect for the work that you do. Setting clear expectations is another habit that prevents power struggles. Kids do not respect rules that feel random or constantly change. If they know what is expected of them and why, they are more likely to follow through. Instead of saying, "Because I said so," explain the reasoning behind rules. It does not mean they will always agree, but understanding the logic makes them less likely to resist. Finally, leading by example is the foundation of gaining respect. Kids learn more from what you do than what you say. If they see you handling challenges with patience, treating others with kindness, and standing by your values, they will naturally respect you. If they see you being dishonest, disrespectful, or inconsistent, they will struggle to respect your authority. Every day, in small ways, You're teaching them how to treat you by how you treat others and yourself. Parenting is not about controlling your child. It is about guiding them. The more they respect you, the more they will listen. And respect is built through daily interactions, not through one-time lessons. When kids see that you are consistent, fair, kind, and strong in your values, respect follows naturally. It is not always easy, but with patience and the right habits, you will create an environment where your child does not just obey you out of fear, but genuinely respects you as a person they admire and trust. So, the next time your child ignores you or acts disrespectful, do not get angry. Do not engage in a power struggle. Instead, try these strategies. They work, and over time, you will see a real difference in how your child responds to you. If you like today's discussion, don't forget to like the video. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to stay updated with every video we release. And yes, don't forget to share your experiences and thoughts in the comments. Every comment is special to us. Your feedback helps us improve further. We'll continue to meet you in every new video on this channel. So until next time, take care.